So my name is Aislinn, and the prompt, I guess, for us having these little speeches is what ignited our desire for change. And what ignited my desire for change is not entirely my own, and it's not simply one event. It is the story of my dad, my brother, and many like me. I am a talker, I am a runner, I'm a very passionate person, sometimes to my own detriment, and I am stubborn. I'm also autistic. There is not one particular moment I can pinpoint as the spark or drive for change. Instead, I'm going to give you a summary of some small moments that all make up a larger story. When I was a kid in primary school, I struggled with friends. I loved learning, I loved talking, but I would talk too much. I couldn't make eye contact, or I would stare too much. There was no in between. I didn't understand why it was like that. As I grew older, I got my diagnosis. I was about the age of 12, and for anyone that knows anything about autism, that's extremely young for a girl, and that's extremely rare. Though at the time, I had very little understanding of what that meant. All I knew was that I was different, but I did know my brother was the same, but not exactly. So I went on to secondary school. I begged my mother at the time to send me to a secondary school far away from my peers in primary school, somewhere where I could have a fresh start. And I thought naively maybe this would sort the issues. It did somewhat. I made friends for the first time, and I felt like a social success, whatever that means. I was good at sports, and I did well in school. I had good grades. I had forced myself into the mould of what was expected of me. However, with that came the teenage years, and a whole new set of challenges. As a person with autism, this whole new set of challenges came with a whole new set of rules. Exams brought severe panic attacks. The drama and teenage angst led to confusion of why things had suddenly changed in friend groups and why it was all suddenly so complicated. And a lot of family issues came to a head. I became angry, confused, and hurt. Life moved on, and I went into fifth year, so when you're about 17. Shortly before my leaving cert, my dad went to rehab for alcoholism. He was a victim of what I would call, or what's generally known as, generational ableism. My dad is autistic. He did not know. This brought really hard times for me and my mom. We lived off food banks and support from St. Vincent de Paul. This made me angry again. But my mom and me as a team went through this together. And my mom always said, go to university. When you go to university, everything will be better. Socialising will be easier. And that was true. I went on to college in the University of Galway, and I loved it there. I wasn't even mad about my course, but the socialisation and all that was great fun, and it was the first time in my life I felt like I had a home and a place. I slowly felt that certain aspects of my course, particularly law and public policy, were of interest, and I learned that there was power in political and social systems in protecting those who are vulnerable. However, I was still angry, but I did begin to understand society, my own diagnosis, my rights, and also my family a bit deeper. I am autistic, and I've heard it all. Some from strangers, some from acquaintances, and some even from family. You don't look autistic, you're not autistic, so, any psychologist that said that, they're wrong. And, using the word autistic is something that is stupid or annoying and just not right. Funniest of all was during COVID, was a close friend saying to me, I don't know, I wouldn't take the COVID vaccine because I'd rather risk dying of COVID than having autism, despite knowing about my diagnosis. Initially, it was anger that drove me. I wanted to make change because I was angry. I had been through so much because of this thing that I felt wasn't my fault. It wasn't my family's fault. It was just the way I was born. But over the last 6 months, well, everyone's been saying 5 months, so I guess 5 months, with the Changemakers Academy, what has challenged me and also has inspired me is the amount of positivity that every single person I have met in this group has brought. This was a shift. I began to ask myself, at my core, why do I want to make a change? Though I may not yet have the perfect answer, I'm most driven to make change, not out of anger, but out of empathy. We like to believe we live in an equal society, or heading that direction anyways. However, it's not true. I want to strive for equity over equality, to ensure that I can protect any person from being damaged or disparaged by a society not built for them. And being inspired by my fellow changemakers to do this in a positive light as opposed to out of anger has been the most important part of the last 5 months to me.